Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're embarking on a really fascinating journey.
Definitely.
We're going to explore how ancient Vedic wisdom, specifically through the Hindu goddess Saraswati, offers this, well, surprisingly practical framework
hmm
for things like subconscious programming, creative manifestation, and, aligning with the law of attraction.
It sounds very contemporary, but the roots are ancient.
Exactly. We're going to unpack her significance and uncover some, frankly, remarkable connections to modern neuroscience and cognitive science.
And for this deep dive, yeah, we've pulled from a fantastic set of sources, notably some really compelling excerpts from Manifest with Saraswati, Vedic Wisdom, Right Speech, and Subconscious Power.
Okay.
What's really impressive, I think, is how it skillfully weaves together traditional texts, like the Rig Veda, the Upanishads,
The really old stuff.
the really old stuff, yeah, with contemporary science, perspectives on brain function, the power of language. It's a rich mix.
Okay, so let's unpack this then. Imagine if there was like an ancient blueprint for unlocking your inner creative genius
Mm,
and actually programming your mind for success. That's what your sources seem to suggest we'll find. Diving into that blueprint through Saraswati, who the text calls, get this, the accelerant of the subconscious mind
wow, accelerant.
and the muse of manifestation. So, okay, where do we even begin with understanding such a powerful figure?
Well, at her very core, Saraswati is the Hindu goddess who embodies wisdom, clarity, language, obviously, and that pure creative impulse.
Right.
In Vedic tradition, she's seen as the personification of jnana, that's knowledge and vak, which is speech. She's the force that lets us articulate and understand.
And her classic depiction really brings this home, doesn't it? You often see her holding the veena, that beautiful instrument,
Yeah, the stringed instrument.
symbolizing artistic inspiration,
Yeah.
right? And then also a book, Sacred Learning. It's a powerful image. But how does this connect so directly to something that sounds as modern as subconscious programming and manifestation?
Well, it's more than just symbolism, you see. That imagery highlights her really profound link to the subconscious mind. Her grace, as the source describes it, it's not just some mystical idea.
Right.
It's invoked actively as a way to program the unconscious with clarity and creative purpose. Think of it maybe like aligning your internal operating system with a higher intelligence.
That's a deep idea. And the Rig Veda, one of the oldest sacred texts, calls her the best of mothers, the best of rivers, the best of goddesses. That's incredibly high praise.
It is.
How does that kind of praise connect to our creative journey or
Yeah.
manifesting?
It's really significant because it points to her as the source, the fount of all abundance, both, materially and spiritually.
Oh, okay.
When the Rig Veda calls her the possessor of knowledge, it's not just talking about facts and figures. It's recognizing that all sacred wisdom, all understanding flows from her. And later texts even call her the mother of the Vedas, which reinforces this idea that she's the source code, if you will, the blueprint from which all organized knowledge springs.
So she's essentially this archetypal force that helps align our manas, our mind,
The mind.
with what you might call divine intelligence. That sounds like a cornerstone of Vedic manifestation.
It really is.
But then your sources mention this non-dual perspective from the Devi Upanishad, saying Saraswati is a manifestation of the supreme Mahadevi,
Yes, the great goddess.
the feminine face of
And-
ultimate reality. Okay, how does this huge cosmic idea tie back to like individual manifestation and the law of attraction?
Well, that's where it gets really profound, I think. This non-dual view means Saraswati isn't separate from the cosmos. She is the feminine aspect of ultimate reality.
Okay.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, it underlines the Vedic idea that manifesting desires through the law of attraction isn't about like magically pulling things out of thin air.
Right.
It's about aligning your personal intention with universal rhythm, cosmic order.
Ritam.
Okay.
When our individual will aligns with that universal intelligence, that flow, it creates the conditions for those quantum leaps.
Mm.
The source talks about those sudden shifts, surprising breakthroughs.
That makes a lot of sense. Moving from the cosmic maybe down to the practical. One powerful way your sources point out to invoke her energy is through mantra.
Ah, yes, mantra.
What's so special about these particular sounds?
Mantras are incredibly potent tools.
Yeah.
Saraswati's bija, or seed mantra, is AIM, pronounced just like it looks, A-I-M,
Aim.
and the source describes it as, quote, literally the vibration of creative intelligence. Now, unlike regular words, these seed mantras don't have a literal dictionary meaning. They operate on an energetic level. They tap into this Vedic idea that sound itself, Shabda, is a fundamental creative force in the universe.
So when you chant something like Om Aim Saraswati Nama, it's not just saying words, it's pramatur. It's like an energetic imprint. Precisely. You're saluting Saraswati, yes, but more importantly, you're intoning her very essence directly into your subconscious. That aim sound embodies her core energy. Wisdom, knowledge, creativity, eloquence. It's like a direct download.
And it's not just spiritual practice, right? Your sources hint there's a real cognitive benefit here. Chanting AIM is said to activate the Ajna center, the third eye,
The intuition center.
which we often link to intuition and intellectual focus. How does repeating it create this connection? What does the source say happens?
Well, the repetition itself creates this powerful resonance, a connection between the chanter and the deity's energy field, so to speak. The text says it awakens intellect, enhances creativity, and bestows mastery over speech and learning.
Okay.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Modern science is actually validating this ancient practice, in a way.
Okay.
Studies on sound and brainwave entrainment suggest that rhythmic chanting can indeed synchronize neural patterns in the brain.
Wait, so you're saying that this ancient chanting, specific sounds, can literally sync up brainwaves. How does that work? And what's the effect on the subconscious?
Think of it like this. Your brainwaves operate at different frequencies for different mental states, right? Relaxed, focused, etc. Rhythmic chanting can help bring those frequencies into coherence, into sync. This synchronized state makes the mind more, well, receptive. It helps implant positive affirmations, creative intentions, much more deeply into the subconscious.
Wow.
So Saraswati's mantra practice becomes both mystical and really practical.
Yeah.
You're programming the mind with creative energy literally at a neural level, creating a state of optimal receptivity.
That leads us perfectly into Saraswati's domain of Vic speech,
Yes, Vec.
which ties so neatly into modern ideas about how language actually shapes our thoughts. And this isn't just about what we say out loud, is it?
Absolutely not. Cognitive science, psychology, they clearly show how the words and phrases we use repeatedly, both out loud and just in our heads, powerfully influence our emotions, our perception of reality.
Right, like positive self-talk.
Exactly. If you keep framing a challenge positively, you'll likely feel more confident about it. That's your inner dialogue actively working.
This really echoes ancient wisdom, doesn't it? Like Buddha and Dharma's focus on right speech, samyak rach.
Speaking truthfully, kindly, beneficially.
Saraswati seems to embody that. How does her clarity help with that, that inner noise, the negative self-talk we all have?
Her clarity is seen as actively cleansing that inner noise. So when you practice affirmations, phrases like, I am focused, I express myself clearly,
Yeah.
you're not just wishing, you're engaging in a form of right speech that actively reprograms your subconscious. It's a deliberate choice of words to reshape your internal landscape.
And what's fascinating is how neuroscience actually explains this. When we speak, or even just think the same words over and over, our neural pathways literally get stronger. Your sources used a great analogy for this, didn't they?
Yes, it's like thoughts travel along these neural roads in the brain. Every time you use a particular thought or affirmation, the brain reinforces that pathway.
Like paving it.
Exactly. What starts as maybe a dirt path of a new idea through repetition gets upgraded into a well-paved highway of habit. That allows for efficiency, automatic thoughts.
Wow. So, okay, every time we chant Saraswati's mantra or affirm some creative intent, we're literally building and upgrading those brain circuits for wisdom, creativity, positivity.
You got it.
This is neuroplasticity in action, right? The brain's ability to rewire itself.
That's the term.
And this connects to the Sanskrit concept of smriti, memory.
Yeah.
What's the duper meaning of snuti here? It's not just recall, is it?
No, smriti is much more than just remembering facts. It's about how our mental impressions, those repeated mantras, those chosen words, actually sculpt our subconscious operating system. It's the very mechanism through which right speech becomes the key to subconscious reprogramming. We're not just learning information, we're literally becoming what we impress upon our minds.
Okay, shifting focus slightly to creativity itself. Your sources say Saraswati also gives gifts like kama, artistic desire,
Desire and inspiration.
and matri-friendly inspiration. How do creativity and visualization fit into the law of attraction picture? especially with the subconscious involved.
Well, creativity and visualization are incredibly powerful factors here. I mean, think about how imaginative insight often happens. It feels like the subconscious mind suddenly making new connections.
Like a flash of inspiration.
Exactly, like an unconscious brainstorming session that suddenly delivers a brilliant idea. Saraswati's energy is said to help us tap into that deep reservoir.
And this is where your sources bring in that potentially tricky concept, quantum terms.
Right?
They suggest a bold intention, a quantum leap of focus, can collapse probabilities into manifested reality. That's a big claim.
It is a big claim, and it's important how we understand it.
Okay, so while science might not be measuring chakras in a lab, what do the sources highlight about how this works? How does that leap from a focused thought to, quote, manifested reality happen, even metaphorically, when we look at things like the placebo effect or goal setting?
That's a great question. The quantum leap language, in this context, it's really used as an analogy by the sources. It describes a sudden transformative shift that often feels nonlinear, maybe even magical.
Okay, an analogy.
Right. It's drawing a parallel to how observation can affect outcomes in quantum physics, but applying it to the power of human intention. Now, our sources aren't literally equating consciousness and quantum mechanics directly,
Good clarification.
but they point to studies on intention, like the placebo effect, or the clear power of specific goal setting, which consistently show that strong, clear mental focus does bias outcomes. It influences results. So the sources are suggesting that the clarity and purity of intention, which is core to Saraswati's wisdom, creates the mental and, let's say, energetic coherence that makes reality more likely to align with our desires. That's what leads to these leaps.
So Saraswati's clarity helps us clarify and purify our goals. Get really specific. It aligns subconscious belief with conscious desire. It's more than just wanting something vaguely.
Exactly that. When intentions are stated clearly, with conviction, whether it's I create art that inspires or I write words that uplift, we harmonize our inner vibrations, so to speak, with the outer field of possibilities.
Like tuning an instrument.
Kind of like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Just as we talked about cosmic harmony, focusing on Saraswati's wisdom creates an internal resonance. And those quantum leaps, the sudden inspirations, the serendipitous insights, they often happen when our subconscious and conscious minds are truly aligned, acting as one focused unit.
Okay.
Saraswati devotion, the practices, can accelerate these leaps by lighting up those intuition and insight pathways, making that perceived magic happen more often.
This all sounds incredible, but okay, how do we actually do this? For listeners who are thinking, yes, I want to work with this energy, what practical steps do your sources suggest?
Yeah, the sources give some really accessible, actionable steps. First one, daily meditation and mantra practice.
Yeah.
The recommendation is to sit quietly each morning, ideally in a clean space, maybe wearing white, and chant Om Aim Saraswati Nama 108 times.
108 times.
Yeah, using a japa mala, or you can just do it silently. The key is focusing on the sound and visualizing pure white light filling your mind. And the traditional best time, if you can manage it, is Brahma Muhurta.
Which is?
Dawn, basically.
Yeah.
Around 4 or 5 a.m., the mind is said to be naturally clearer, more receptive then.
Okay, makes sense. And building on that right speech idea, how do affirmations fit in practically?
That's step 2. Compile a few positive affirmations related to knowledge, creativity, clarity, things like, my mind is clear and creative, or I speak and write with wisdom.
Simple and direct.
Exactly. Speak them aloud or write them down daily. Maybe near an image of Saraswati if you have one. This actively uses right speech to reprogram the subconscious. It's very deliberate.
I like that. And for those of us who are, say, students or artists, are there specific rituals for learning and creating?
Absolutely. That's point 3. Incorporate study and learning rituals. You can offer your study materials, your books, instruments, art supplies, whatever, to a Saraswati altar, maybe weekly.
Offer them.
Yeah, place them there respectfully, and maybe recite a short prayer like Ya Kundendu Kusha Sarasvatī from the Shraddha Stotram. It's beautiful, means, Oh Saraswati, white as jasmine in the moon. Doing this signals to your subconscious that learning and clarity are sacred acts, not just tasks.
That really changes the energy around studying or practicing
Sure.
and when we're actually in the creative process.
4th point, create with devotion. Before you start any creative work, writing, painting, even brainstorming for business, just silently invoke Saraswati. You can say, Saraswati Namastupam. Salutations to you, Saraswati. Simple. This act of dedicating the process can help remove mental blocks, invite her guidance, visualize her presence, guiding you.
Nice. And finally, your sources mentioned timing, sacred timing.
Right. Many practitioners find the waxing moon when energy is building, and also the 4 fortnights right after the Navaratri festival, the Sharad period, are particularly potent times for Saraswati practices.
Interesting.
But the sources really encourage you to experiment here. Pay attention. See if you notice any synchronicities or breakthroughs when you align your practice with these times. It's about finding your own rhythm with the cosmic rhythms.
So these steps together, these are what the source calls the rituals of manifestation through Saraswati. It sounds like they really echo that universal law of attraction idea. Clear intent, positive thoughts and words, trusting the creative energy.
Precisely. Ultimately, Saraswati helps remove what the sources describe as the veil of subconscious blocks. Think of her as like an obstacle remover for mental fog, helping the mind move from tamas, that's confusion or inertia, to sattva, which is clarity, purity, light. Consistently focusing on her helps the subconscious download wisdom, attuned to those manifestation signals.
And over time, that inner dialogue improves. The creative flashes become more frequent, often described as rapid, even magical progress.
Exactly. Those quantum leaps we talked about, they're really inner breakthroughs, shifts in consciousness, catalyzed, according to this view, by Saraswati's energy.
So, wrapping this up, what does it all mean? Saraswati's timeless message seems crystal clear. Creativity, manifestation, they thrive on wisdom, purity, and sound.
That sums it up well.
By honoring her through mantra, disciplined learning, mindful speech, we're actively programming our subconscious towards higher goals. And it's fascinating that modern neuroscience actually backs this up, showing how intention and repetition literally rewire our brains.
She truly is, as the sources vividly put it, the accelerant of the subconscious mind and the muse of manifestation.
Which leaves us with a really important thought, doesn't it? If your thoughts and words are constantly building and upgrading those neural roads in your brain, literally shaping your reality,
Yeah.
what kind of pathways are you consciously choosing to pave today? And maybe, how might Saraswati's clarity help you design your ultimate destination?